Hi everybody. So today what we're going to attempt to make is some beaded drop earrings. These are actually inspired by some work from Miss Christina at CSL Designs. She has made some absolutely gorgeous bracelets in a similar fashion to this, and I thought, she hasn't done earrings for this, and it's been long enough, and I thought, I would do something that would kind of match and look really good. But the way she does is she uses 2 sets of the thinner gauge wire, whereas I'm only using 1. So that's the back, that's the front. This is the earring that I've made to go with it. I've also made some others that look slightly different from this one. And so you can see the difference with this one. I'm adding silver spacer beads. With these I haven't, and with these, this one has 6 beads instead of 5 like these do. And this one I also used a much thicker wire. I used an 18 gauge and a 21 gauge, or excuse me, 22 gauge and a 21 gauge twisted. With this one I'm using the same wire as before, so you can see you can definitely do different things with it, and it'll definitely turn out much different each time. But the second earring with this is the one that we will be doing today. So to go ahead, here is all of our materials. We have our beads. This is a 10 millimeter, a 6 millimeter, and a 4 millimeter. I'll be using 1 10 millimeter, 2 6 millimeters, and 2 4 millimeters. And then I have 2 5 millimeter silver spacer beads, and I have 2 4 millimeter silver spacer beads as well. And for the wire, for the base wire, I'm using a 20 gauge silver wire, so you can definitely use whatever color beads and whatever color wire you choose. This is just what I'm going to be using today. And then for the wrapping wire, I'm going to be using a 26 gauge silver wire. For the 20 gauge base wire, I've cut off 8 inches in total. We will have some left over, but that's okay. And then for the wrapping wire, we have 10 inches, 3 sections of 10 inches of the wrapping wire. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to move things out of the way. And I'm going to just kind of move this over, scoot this up. Whoops, 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 whoops. So definitely want to credit Miss Christina at CSL Designs for the base idea for this. So can't really say it was totally my idea. I just happened to think, hey, that would be really cute as earrings. Hey. So it's going to be kind of a loop drop, so to speak. But I just pick up, I try to get my base wire about as straight as you can, because these small beads, they will not want to come on like this end. So this is going to be the end that I hold on to, because it's got this bend to it. And I do try to get the ends of my wire to just kind of sit straight and together as much as possible. I'm going to pick up my wire, and this is literally, I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to use my finger to hold that, and then I'm going to wrap all 3 around all at one time. Now, if you've seen the video that I'm kind of referencing, it's like a candy stripe bracelet or something like that. And I actually have tried to make it, and I love it. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh. But I wrap once with all 3, because this is such a finer gauge wire that you can do this. Now, if you use a thicker gauge wire as your wrapping wire, you may want to do like she did and wrap each one of these individually to start off with. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm getting my smallest colored bead, and I'm going to thread that on. And that's one thing. With these small beads, you definitely want to make sure that the hole in the beads is going to fit on your wire. It's going to fit on your base wire. So you thread that on. Now you're going to take your wire, and you're going to try to keep them in line with each other as you wrap around, and you see what it does right there. It makes a really cute design, and I absolutely love it. And you can try to get it nice and flat and keep it, together and everything. Then I'm going to come in with my small 4mm silver spacer bead. Bring that down right there beside it. You may want to try to keep the base wire straight because it will kind of move on you as you go. And just wrap it all over again. I do kind of push my wires down to make sure that they stay in line with each other. And then I'm going to pick up a 6mm bead, thread that on, and just going to keep going. So in the bracelet design that matches this, the way she does is she actually has two links, or three section pieces of the wrapping wire that one end attaches here and one end attaches here, and that way it kind of either side. So I'm just kind of simplifying that, and I'm just using one on this one. So if you can see on this larger 5mm spacer bead, you can still see the hole, but they are going to be earrings, so I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. And because I love these beads, and they do have a little bit of a design to them, kind of, it's got like stripes on there, I want those stripes to be in the front. So I want to make sure that I keep that part of the bead in the front, even though the bead will still be able to kind of move around a little bit. So really, the hardest part of these, of doing any kind of work like this, is making sure that your wire stays straight, and then attaching and finishing up the ends is really the hardest part. Aside from that, this part is super duper easy, and I love it. Oh, I don't love it because it's easy, but I love the work, and it's nice and easy. It makes it much easier, much, you know, you wire workers, you know what I'm talking about. Again, just going to push it down really nice and flat as much as I can. And I'm going to get on my last one. I'm going to get those around, and then I'm going to come up once more. Okay. And so there is our basic design. Now, if you see that the wrapping wires are kind of out of place, you can kind of twist it, move it however you may need to. I suggest doing so at this point. So if you would happen to need to tighten up any wires or anything, you could do it at this point. I wouldn't want to do that after you've cut the wires or anything like that. So you're going to bring out your flush cutters, which I realized that I had forgotten my tools. But, you know, have basic tools on hand. And just flatten those ends down. Always make sure that you you do come in feel of it so that it will not snag. Because you got to think, this is going to be in your hair. Or it could get in your hair is what I mean to say. So you don't want it to get stuck in your hair. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to separate these back out again. And there we go. Alright, and I'm just going to cut, just because the only reason why I wanted to do that was just so that when I go to flatten them down, they don't twist up. So that they stay looking good. I always come in and I flatten it down that way. Flatten it down this way. Of course, you see I'm using a pair of bent nose pliers. You can always use chain nose, whatever kind of pliers you have available. So with this now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and I see that I kind of left a bit of a, you know, left that loose, but that's okay. So you're just going to come in, you're going to gently turn it towards each other till you get kind of a loop. So now I do want to use my longer side to come up and make this loop here, okay? So now you're going to take this end and you're going to bring it in as close to the other as possible. This one's a bit tricky as well because now you're going to wrap this wire around itself, essentially. Keep it nice and tight. I did 2 times on the previous, so I'm going to do this twice. And then I'm going to come in, because I didn't get that as tight as what it needs to be. I'm also going to push it down and tighten the wire up. Oop, and see, it moved on me. Oopsie. Don't do that. Please don't do that. You will mar your wire up, and I hate that. You think you've got something really, really super duper nice, and you're so proud of it, and then you see you have, you know, marks, plier marks, you know. So aggravating, but all that comes with time. When you, the more you work on things, and the more you do it, you know, the better you're going to get. So I'm also going to straighten that up pretty straight. At this point, I can come in. And I do cut this with an angle so that hopefully nothing, once I get this flattened out, will be sharp and pointy, and hopefully it won't get caught on anything. And I do my best to get it absolutely as flat as I can. And I come in, and that's beautiful. Okay. So now I'm going to use my 6-step bell making pliers. This is just what I'm choosing to use for to make the loop at the end. You can use your round nose pliers, whichever ones you have on hand. I'm going to use the second smallest, which is this one right over here to my right. And I'm actually going to come in just a couple of millimeters up, and I'm going to make a nice sharp bend. So I'm going to come right here where that one was. So keeping that second step towards my right. And I'm going to bend the wire around. And now I'm going to move that, bend it. Okay. Trying to keep everything in line, everything straight. Also trying to keep this wire tight as much as I can. Though you can only do so much sometimes. Keep it pushed up. I think I did at least 3, if not 4 rotations. But, see, at this point, I'm kind of running out of room, and that's okay, because I can come in and I can tighten this wire up. All the while, you do want to make sure you try to keep the loop fairly straight as much as possible. Just getting the wrappings pretty tight. Also keeping this up and together, this part. There we go. That's doing better. But then I've got my loop all kind of wonky. And I see that I am kind of marring my wire up, so be careful. Again, you know, mind what you're doing, and definitely keep an eye on that. So now I'm just going to come into right here, because I've run pretty well out of space. Come in with my flat nose again, or flat nose, Lord of mercy. These things. Oh my gosh. And just going to come in, flatten this out as much as possible. Trying to, all the while, stay on camera, which sometimes can be difficult. So now I see that this is out of line again. It's crooked, and that's okay. So I'm going to just come in with that, like that. I feel something poking. Where is it at? Right there. All right. Okay, that solved that issue. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to make sure it's shaped pretty well, and you want to open up your wires to make this really cute look on your beads. Now what I am doing is I am leaving the wires on the silver beads next to each other. I'm leaving those together. I'm only splaying out the wires on the blue beads that I'm using. Okay. Pull that one out, pull that one out, and then these three are last. And there you go. So now the only other thing that you would have to do, which this one, like I said, was a bit loose, and I'm going to try to... Okay. The only other thing you would have to do is attach your ear hook. And you've got an instant pair of earrings. You could use red and green beads. I mean, you could use orange and green beads for, you know, Halloween beads or Halloween earrings. I mean, just about anything. The only thing I can say that I did funny was that you could tell the length of these pieces are slightly off. This one's a bit longer. But for something like this, it can be hard to do. You can always go back and fix it if you so choose. Or you can keep it and say, hey, it's a design flaw, you know. But anyway, so at this point, that's all you would have to do is just attach your ear hooks, which I've got a couple right here. And I keep hitting that, I'm sorry. With a couple of jump rings, or, you know, you wouldn't even necessarily have to use jump rings because these open. Sometimes I forget about that. Open that up. Get that on there. And there you go. Instant, pretty quick earrings. So I really hope that you guys liked this video. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Again, full credit to Miss Christina at CSL Designs for the idea for these. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. Coming up in future videos, I will be trying to do some Halloween themed jewelry, and then probably come November I will be try to do some Christmas themed jewelry. So any ideas for that, please leave those ideas in the comments below. And any thoughts, suggestions to do anything better on these or any other video that I have, please leave those in the comments, or I have a discussion board up on my page, on my channel page, that you can leave anything there for me if you'd like to. So definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button, and make sure you also hit that bell icon so that when I do upload a video, you will be notified. And so that's going to be it for today. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope y'all have a really great day. Bye-bye.